like it. But that doesn't mean that it's the way it is. It doesn't mean that it should be that way. I'll turn it over to Buddy because I think he can add to that a lot.
First of all, as far as leverage is concerned, Laurie and I, we like a lot of leverage, but I dance some girls who don't give leverage at all. I'll dance just with them. It should be individual. Every partner you dance with is a little bit different. You must adjust that partner, or you're not a good dancer. If you only dance one way, then that's the only people you can dance with. And to me, that's only one-sided. You need to be able to dance with everybody on the dance floor. If they're strong, give a little more body weight. If they overdo somebody, it's no good. If you underdo somebody, it's not like dancing with anybody, so you have a choice.
Hey, Wayne.
I'm all for leverage. We do a lot of leverage in our dancing, but I think leverage is the one thing you have to have in the dancing is a connection and that feeling, and you can feel your partner, even if it's very light, it's got to be there. And so now we're talking about degrees of connecting with your partner. And once you reach a certain point, then we're talking leverage, where you've reached such a degree of connection that it becomes leverage. That doesn't mean that you're so light that there's nothing there. There has to be something there, partner to partner. There must be a connection. And then it's a preference on how far you want to take it to leverage.
Down here. Oh, wait. You let her talk.
Another thing, with leverage, a woman has the responsibility not to be heavy, but you can also maintain that look of having a very leveraged line and holding your own body weight. And so many women think that leverage means hanging out and letting a guy hold onto them. So you have to remember, too, that leverage means to be responsible for your own weight and hold that yourself at times and with a connection. Come in, Barry. Good evening. You're going to talk on this mic in a minute.
Oh, whatever.
Charlotte hit on something that I was going to say is a lot of people confuse heaviness with different terms like resistance. As soon as you tell somebody resistance, especially I notice this with girls, is as soon as you say you need resistance, they kind of give you this shocked look like, oh, you want me to be heavy? No, it's not heavy. People confuse heavy and resistance as one and the same, and I think a lot of you with the term leverage are confusing that same thing. If it's not done correctly, or the proper technique, and there could be different techniques to get the same job done, it turns to heaviness. And leverage should not be heavy, it should be leverage, period. And I think that would be the only thing that would run into a problem with leverage. Yeah, leverage is like a fulcrum. If you have a rock and you want it, it's too heavy to pick up, use a bar. And if you push down on that bar, it lifts or moves the rock or whatever. Leverage is a lever. It makes something that's heavier or harder to move easier to move. And if we think of it in simple terms of the rock, you would use your arm the same way. You would find a leverage that makes it easy to lead the girl rather than yank or pull and try to push that rock or move that lady or whatever. Anybody else want to? Jackie can't say.
I don't know how I get on the subject, and last to speak, everything is practically said. Once again, if we're doing West Coast swing, it is a leverage dance. The degree, like they brought up, is the thing that we really have to kind of feel. First of all, as leaders, we lead, and then we try to find the flow of the girl. You can almost tell how much leverage she wants. After you do a couple steps, and then you can start applying it. If we give too much, we probably won't be able to dance with her again. She won't want to dance with us. But West Coast swing is a certain amount of leverage. So I think that it's a cleaner look. I think the girls will look a little better with a little lean, but not too much. Like Charlotte brought out, you find the degree of leverage that you really should apply and your partner could live with.
Laurie?
Wait a minute. So I still talk to her. I will say this, that all dance, no matter what dance is, has some leverage involved. Okay? And we've all said the same thing, that it's not the amount you give. And it's dependent upon you and your partner. Everyone is entirely different. You'll find the competitors usually use a little bit more than social dancers, but they're out there dancing faster songs usually and trying to win by doing fast stops and everything else, whereas social dancers usually don't
Good. Sorry.
As far as the leverage where it comes from the center of your body. No, I don't like to see a girl leaning too far this way or too much butt out also. Okay? A girl should get to the center of her body, okay? And she hangs from her body. She can take her push a little further than her center if she wants to add style on the hand. But it's not going to affect the center. The center is what you hang on with if you do it correctly. All leads, all follow come from center. If they don't come from center, they come from the arm. We're not arm dancers because that's called clinging jerk, folks, and I'm not a jerk. Okay?
In my opinion, ladies, you should never, ever lean back. Because if something happens and he doesn't happen to get you, you're going to end up falling on your butt someday along the line. You should always sit. If you're gonna create that resistance, you need to sit. That means the back always stays straight. The butt shouldn't, like Buddy said, the butt shouldn't overextend your body except for certain except for certain style purposes, but you should always keep your back straight and sit for that resistance.
And actually, what you brought up as far as leaning, centering is everything. I think all dancers will agree. Centering is what it's all about. If you're not centered, you're really not going to look professional or really clean. Anyone else want to elaborate on this? Barry Jones is down there looking like he's not going to say anything. Let's send it down to Barry.
What's the question?
We don't care, just
You
talk.
did good. You answered it good. I agree with you.
Yeah. Just
All
talk.
right, next question. And it better be good. What was that? Because they have no glamour. No. No, a lot of them are doing like the old way. The old jitterbug to getting down. That's how I think a lot of it's coming from. But now it's become so rigid, not rigid, but more styling is added to it. The old way to get down. Wouldn't you say like that old-fashioned jitterbug?
Are you looking at me, Barry?
But now, if you do it like this, in the West Coast, it's very low glamour. You get cut off for it.
Jack can address that, Steve.
Benji, what you're really referring to, we used to refer that to as a C-frame. And consequently, when you're dancing upbeat, and it was more or less an a Lindy and at great speed, the guy was really bent over to keep the speed up and throw the girl out. And I think that's, in the old days, that's all you saw. Everyone danced in a big over fashion. And then as time has changed, the music has slowed down. And now we feel like, well, I hate that word that we're doing, West Coast, East Coast. Really, I always refer to the swing that we call West Coast as the dance swing. Anyway, look at it, do more with it. It's a takeover is, I think, anytime we do a whip, we're coming off the old Lindy whip, and that dates back to the 30s. So consequently, time has changed, music has changed, and that's what changes dancing. And, but if a person feels the music, it's not the greatest thing that you feel the music. When they play a song, no one's going to hear it the same. We really hope that we can please 80% of the people. If we can get 70, we'll be happy. But I don't care how great you are, there's going to be 30% out there that really think that you shouldn't even be on the dance floor. We can't help that. We have the only dance, and I know you can go off and they have great judges, great winners, and there's going to be a certain amount of people think somebody else should win, and I think that's wonderful. We have the only dance that is interpretation, and we go to music. We hope we please everybody, but we have a great dance, and I hope it stays this way. I hope we're not set on one particular style.
Yeah, and
Okay, okay.
after that, can I have a question?
Okay, one question. I'm going to say something he just said. It's a great dance. It is a great dance, folks. It's the only dance where an advanced dancer can dance with a beginner. You can't do it in waltz. You can't do it in fox. You can't do it in cha-cha. It's the only dance where an advanced dancer can dance with a beginner. If the man wants to sugar push and underarm turn, the girl can syncopate her butt off and have a good time. Still dance with it. Only one.
addressing Benji again on being bent over, which doesn't look good, but a good C-frame does look good. And it applies in swing, and I like a good C-frame, but just like anything, you can do things that look, a C-frame that looks good, and a C-frame that's going to look all hunched and bent over. So there's appropriate time and place and execution of the C-frame.
I have a question I want to be able to, probably some of you want to ask, but haven't done it yet. I think it's a good question. This is the best time to ask it. But every time after a workshop like this, I have several people come up and ask me, you know, we're told so many different things from so many different teachers and their styles, who's right and who's wrong. And I'd like to have everyone here answer that. And I personally don't think, what's wonderful about swing, there's so many different styles. No one's right, no one's wrong. You have your basics, of course, but I'm talking about style. You know, you can learn from everyone. You can adapt what you feel comfortable with, what style, and then take a little bit from everybody and do it the way you feel comfortable. That's how I would answer it. I'd like to hear everyone else. Wayne's going to say his way is the right way.
I just want to say that there are principles within dance, all forms of dance that you want to maintain. And style is another thing, but principles are very important. Like your center point of balance, you know, you want to be on balance. So there's things that, no matter what you're told, you're going to take those principles with you from one instructor to another.
I agree with that. And then there's also a difference between having a unique style, a different style, a nice style, and just bad lines or bad technique. There's a difference there. You know, you're toning in the whole time, well, that's my style. More technique too, you know. So there's a difference there also.
I want to address this one. It's a good question, Barry.
Buddy, you let her talk?
Don't let me ever have a microphone. I agree that you should take lessons from everybody. I think as a social dancer, it's a good idea to get a taste of everything, especially when you're beginning to learn. But I think eventually, somewhere along the line, you start connecting with certain teachers. And I think it's important that you have that connection because just like Jeff was saying, everybody interprets music, dance, events, whatever, in a very different fashion. So if you can connect with one teacher, two teachers, I think it benefits your dancing because I think a lot of times if you are taking from too many teachers, you get very, 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 very confused. And a lot of times we'll be at workshops and the students are so confused. Well, somebody told me this and somebody told me that. And everybody has great suggestions and great ideas and great steps. But somewhere along the line, I think each and every one of you will connect to a special teacher. And I think that that's important that you have that connection, especially when you get on a competition level. I think that there has to be a trust and there has to be a relationship with the choreographer, with that person that is teaching you what you want to come across to the audience. So it's not to say that somebody is bad or somebody is wrong, but I think that there should be a special connection between a teacher or a choreographer and a student.
To reiterate about the style versus, styling, everyone has their own things. I'm trying to be real nice here. Everyone has their own techniques. So I had a gentleman tell me not too long ago, I am being nice, I'm not saying nice.
That's not why we brought you here, to be nice.
I was judging a contest, and the person, the entire time the contest, was looking at his feet, or at the floor. And I was told later that it was his style. I said, well, to me that's not style, that's bad dancing. If a person dances and is doing this all the time, that's not good dancing, I'm sorry. Okay. So you have to me, you have to have a good basis first. And if the style doesn't interrupt a good basis, I mean, it can, for a second, you gotta go back to that dance. Because a lot of people use different moves in dance, in competition. They use a Latin move, they use a hustle move, or whatever. And that's all good. If they all become the same dance, folks, we're doing only one dance. And to me, one of the big differences is this, you must look at the differences in dances, such as hustle and swing and jitterbug versus West Coast swing or whatever, and show the differences as a teacher and a student, no difference. Not they're all one thing as far as I'm concerned. It's a problem that somebody does one jitterbug move in the middle of a West Coast swing, it looks odd. You understand that, folks? That's my opinion. It's a question.
You say that style comes from every person's different own structure.
Unfortunately, yeah, you're correct. A lot of it does. How you move. But I thought you all see we all do a little differently. You understand that, folks? We're not all robots. We're not all cattle. So I teach a move, and it may not feel good on this person, it feels good on this person. You do it because it feels good to you. You don't do it, find a move that works. You understand that? Teachers teach what they know, or what they think you should have. But you may not feel good with that one thing. So go with it, try and learn them all. Once you can do it well, then say, well, that's not for me, and then try something else. But don't just automatically say that's not my thing until you try it for a while. Because sometimes we as professionals up here can tell you what's going to look better in your body than you know right now because you're not aware yet. You haven't been around enough to see what's going on, what's right or wrong. Okay. So yes, a bone structure does make a difference. I know some people have scoliosis real bad. I had a guy who had no left arm. He was dancing, tall, moves with his right hand, worked out perfectly for him. You can't teach him to do something else. Okay.
To me, they pretty much hit upon everything all the way down here. They're all pretty smart. They don't look at either.
Thank you, Annie.
What it boils down to, as far as I'm concerned, is polish. What's best for you personally is what you should be aiming at, not looking like a certain someone else. That might not be for you. Find what looks good for you. Polish what you do the way you do it, and then look at yourself. Then you might want to tear it apart and make some other decisions. But rather than learn lots and lots and lots and lots of patterns, learn lots and lots of good technique, because that's what comes to the top. I'll pass this on.
I would like to welcome our visitors from the IHOP back here. Royston Laureen. Actually, what we're talking about, as long as we're talking about structure and so forth, have you ever noticed you could look around and you could look at 4 people you know, and when they dance, you can pick them off the dance floor. In other words, if you're not a dance teacher, you don't practice your walk, if you've got an occupation, or you set yourself, or you work at a desk on a phone, you're going to fall back and look at the time. So what we really are saying, if you don't have a perfect walk, the first step is to walk to where you're going to be happy the way you look, and get an attitude. There's no way you can throw out 10 hours of doing nothing, go and dance for an hour. You get an attitude. When you get that dance floor, don't worry about the dance step. Take that attitude all the time. I want to look like Laureen, except my, never mind. But the idea is you emulate, you get an attitude when you hit the dance floor. And it doesn't do any good to do a good step if you fall back and do something that really is not the most becoming position in the world. So if you look at someone and you can pick up and watch the way they walk and if they dance the same way, then maybe you're doing the same thing. So I think the biggest thing that I would suggest for anybody is to want to study yourself. Look at yourself walking. Get an idea what you look like. And then take it from there. If you're happy with it, then build on that. That's what you want. That's amazing. If you actually walk the same way you dance, maybe we're all in trouble. I know I'm in trouble.
Along the same lines of what Laura was saying, in the beginning stages, a lot of people go to different teachers and they end up being confused because they don't know what to listen to, what not to listen to, what's right, what's wrong. The best thing to do in the beginning stages is pick one teacher that you like, that you're comfortable with, and especially that you trust. And stick with that teacher until you get those basics down and the style that you want. Nobody's style is right or wrong, it's just their style. But you as a student have to pick which style that you prefer. And that's when, after you get your basics, that's when you go to different people and figure out what style you want. You may pick one style, or you may pick quite a few styles. But you will incorporate that into your own personality, and you will make it your own style.
Years ago, there wasn't a lot of people teaching West Coast swing, and I'm sure everybody here on that panel can remember those days. Today, it's like every block has a West Coast swing teacher. Well, today you have to kind of go by reputation, or to just walk in someplace and go teach me how to do West Coast swing. There's a lot of bad teachers out there, period. Okay? There's a lot of good ones too, and what you have to do is talk to your friends, talk to other dancers. And people with reputations, people that are known teachers of any particular type dance, whether it be West Coast, cha-cha, whatever, nothing they can say is wrong because they've proven themselves. They've made it over the hurdle and so on and so forth. there's a lot of people that use, well, I learned a different way, or my teacher taught it to me this way, as an excuse, okay? And when, I'll use me as an example, I'll go up to one student and say, you need to do this, and they go, well, I was taught it a different way. Well, if it was done correctly, I wouldn't have noticed there was anything wrong with it to begin with, okay? It wasn't that the teacher taught it incorrectly, it was the student's interpretation of what the teacher was trying to get them to do that wasn't working. And I picked it out, or Buddy picked it out, or Robert and Lorraine picked it out, or whoever, and they walked up and they said, you got a problem here. And the teacher or the student, instead of standing there and accepting it and going, well, fix it, they sit there and go, I learned it a different way, so don't even talk to me about what you have to say. And they turn around and leave. And we all get that. And you as the student, if you're going to take somebody or take a workshop and have them instruct you, you got to take their instruction. You can't sit there and pull names and go, well, I took a lesson from Buddy Schwimmer yesterday and he told me not to pay attention to anything you had to tell me. I've heard that. Okay? So Buddy, no, I'm kidding. I'm just using Buddy's name as an example. That's ridiculous. Why did you come to me in the first place? To argue with me? Well, I'll tell you what, I'll argue right back, and I'll tell you to get the hell out of here. Okay? I don't have time for people like you, and there's a lot of people here that feel the same way. Some people are going to be a little more political and not return your phone call the next day, but a lot of it is don't battle with the teacher. I mean, plain and simple. If they find a problem in you, it doesn't matter where you learned it, you're not doing it correctly. That teacher could be the best teacher and get you to do that step better than anybody else in the world, but you don't have it yet because I found out by looking at you that it was wrong. There's something wrong with it. And it wasn't that the way it was taught, it's your interpretation of the way you're doing it was incorrect. And you got to stop using excuses. I know most of you don't, but I had a couple people here yesterday in class that Chris or I walked up to them and they said, well, we do it differently. Well, I'm looking at what you're doing and you're feeling what you're doing and it's not coming across the same way. So it gets kind of tricky. If you're there to learn and you're going to pay a professional to teach you, listen, okay? Because they're there to help you, they're not against you. They're there to make you the best that you can be, not to teach you to look like them. And I don't know any teacher here that teaches to look like them.
Eat more hamburgers.
Eat more hamburgers. I think I'm done. I think I've raised a lot of questions down here, so I'm going to bypass Buddy.
I just want to add that when I teach my classes, I just tell you up front, plain and simple, that what I'm teaching you is an opinion based on what I do. So if you want to learn what I do and the way that I do it, then you take a class from me. If you want to learn what Barry does and the way Barry does it, then you take a class from me. If you want to learn what... Now, if you want to learn the way somebody dances, then you take a class from that person. And I tell all my students that I don't deal in absolutes as a general rule. I think that what I do works for me, and I think that that's great. And if you want to learn the way I do it, then you take a class from me. If you want to learn the way somebody else does it, you take a class from them. And I really agree with what Sonny says. I get people in my class all the time say, well, so-and-so said. And I go, wow, that's really great, isn't it? Next move. And then what I'll normally say is, well, you know, here's a different way. And you guys can try it both ways. And whichever works for you and you feel is the best, then you do it that way. I don't think that there's absolutes. I mean, there's certain things that we deal in absolutes, but as an intermediate and advanced dancer, most of what we talk about, I feel is an opinion based on what we do.
By the way, Buddy wanted you to know mine. We won't plug it in, but he gets to know mine.
Can I say something?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay.
All right, then.
Okay. You had a question. I won't take it. Yes, that's very good analogy. Also, I want to say that every teacher here, or any teacher you go to, folks, will teach you something. Okay? Learn something from everybody. There's nobody, I don't care if it's the person next to you on the dance floor, you can't learn something from. Something either to do or not to do, if you use your own brain. Okay? That's why you have a brain. You don't go by the first car on the lot, folks. You go try them all out, see which one you like the best, don't you? Try them all out, see which one fits you the best, and use that person to help you out. All the cars will get you from point A to point B. All the teachers will get you up there dancing, folks. That's how you want to dance. There's nothing wrong with that. Dance every way if you want to. Be able to switch. I like to see somebody who can say, well, I do this first style and this first style. Two different songs when I want to. That's a smart person who can do that. Very few people can, but that's a smart person. Okay? Take the best thing from Sonny, the best thing from Robert or Barry or Wayne or Annie Hirsch, and use them to your advantage.
All back to me.
Yeah, just try the best thing for everybody, folks, and try and put it in your own repertoire. The way most people build repertoire, folks, is to get a good basis and then steal and take from every place. Or make up. Who cares? As long as you make yourself dancing, that's all that matters.
Anybody else?
Question out there?
Yes, sir.
Well, I come from a place where there aren't any teachers, and I've taken
Move.
I have really enjoyed. So I would like to hear each of you comment on what are the differences that you see between, say, Central style West Coast swing, West Coast style West Coast swing, ballroom, and country.
First of all, we haven't got all day. Yeah. I'll give you a real quick thumbnail sketch, then anybody else can say what they want to, okay? Yeah, and I teach in the ballroom fields, we all know. I teach the ballroom dancers, their swing, I teach the country, I teach country west places, I teach all over. And there's all different kinds of swing out there, folks. The West Coast swing used to be called sophisticated swing because it has got technique and style. Eastern swing was like the mother swing, it was like the play half the time that everyone did half the time. Jive is the English version of our swing, our jitterbug swing, which is a bad version, I think, in my opinion. And it's changing over there. Jive over in Europe, folks, is now changing over to more our West Coast swing, which is really nice. Okay, I teach in Europe 10 times a year, folks, and they're all love it. I teach mostly dance teachers over there, which is kind of fun. Style. I mean, as far as the different kinds of swings that are around, I think that the Midwest has its style, and that's wonderful. I would, as I said before, I take things from that, take things from back east, take things from the West Coast, or whichever person's style there is. There's 12 major forms of swing in the United States, by the way. Okay. Take something from each one and use it if it fits you. And you and the music you're dancing to. But that music really denotes how you're going to dance. You can't do a Lindy to a Black Velvet. Do you understand that? It doesn't work out. Okay? So you have to figure out what you're going to dance to and how you can dance to it. With that part, you have to be with the moment.
That's a tough question. Any other questions? Does someone want to take that one and elaborate on that? Okay.
Who invented the club? The one
Right
there.
I did.
I invented it. It actually came off a dance called the Surfer Song. Believe it or not. Right. No. Not a chance.
I want to see that. What's it look like? I thought it was Buddy and
No. No, it's mine. I did it when I was 15 years old, folks. I'm 46 years old now. Okay? And that's before I knew these people. And it came off on going to park and recreation dance. And it came a lot different than it is now. It's gone through a lot of changes. And over in Europe right now, some good things. They like it over there. They're teaching for social dance. And also, if you go to BYU, they train it, which is the biggest dancing school in the United States. They teach you there like you do waltz. You must take that and take waltz and anything else. That's cricket. Okay? That's right. You take small steps, and that's a good thing to swing also. Some people say take small steps. Have you all heard that? Some people say take larger steps. So that. You can go both ways. As far as I'm concerned, depends on the room you got and how well you can move as a person. Period.
I like the two-step question because two-step is one of my favorite dances. And one good thing about two-step, what obviously you like to do two-step, is I like to do two-step a little bit faster, but it can be done very, very slow, or it can be done fast, almost like a samba. And even it has very, very similar, a little bit of the same pattern, some of the same pattern work, but that's one of the pretty things that I like about two-step with West Coast swing. West Coast swing can be done very fast or very slow. It's the same with two-step. You have a really good wide variety. Not like with dances like hustle where, you can't do it very slow all the time. But two-step's a great dance to teach as a variety of speed.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, do you believe the man determines the number of spins this woman is going to do, 2 or 3, or
Oh, here we go. Problem. Okay. Okay, you can have all answer on this. I'll tell you what happens. Okay, if a girl can do a multiple amount of turns, and I would always check a girl out first. I would sit there and take any lady I found, my old lady, any lady I pick off the street to dance, and imagine I'm going to crank her through 15 turns. You understand that? That would be ludicrous on my part to even try to do that to her. I must know that person first, at least be able to feel her and how she dances. I'm not going to try and put somebody through more turns. In fact, if you know me, I usually go out there and tell you, you do basics for the first half of a song, if you know somebody, just to find out how you party dance. Do not try to overdo them. Try to dance with them, that's more important.
I like to answer that one because it's come up a lot. I like to be the one. I think a man, if he's going to lead, I agree with what you said on. You should go with the ability of the lady. You don't want to go out with a lady, she can barely do a double spin. You're going to go out there and spin 15 times. But I definitely agree with my style, with what I believe. If a guy leads, he leads the whole dance, not part of the dance, and then puts his hand up there to this and bring it back down. I think he leads from beginning to ending. If you get all the sharp, you put your hand up and she'll tell you when to put your hand down.
And if I want to, I will.
I don't know, I just do whatever tells me to do.
Honestly, when you see, I've seen this happen several times. Wait, I answered this. When they get out there and they mess up on the routine and they blank out, who's got to be in control? To me, it's the guy, because what I hate to see, and I've seen it, the girl's going to spin an extra time. When you're spinning and the guy wants to spin again, she's going to stop and make more mistakes there, because they're both trying to lead there. They're both trying to fight each other. If it gets like that, I think the guy's got to be in control. Now, in social dancing, she's right. I mean, you want to go with the style of the lady. Of course, with Charlotte, you basically know how long they want to spin or what their style is. It goes with style. But I think a guy leads from the beginning of the dance to the end of the dance, not halfway. That's my answer. Okay.
Well, I agree to a point.
What is that?
Which point is that? I probably... Yeah, which is that? I initiate the lead, so I might give the first lead. But after that, well, I better be ready to see how she's going to interpret my lead. If she doesn't interpret it the way that I think I led it, then I better be ready to adjust. Okay? So now what's happened? She's just led something. Because I have to adjust her. It goes both ways. And also, many times I'll give a lead, and I've just given a suggestion. Now, how do you want to react to it? The lady's on her own. She can now react or add her own to that lead. I've given some pressure or a suggestion, and let's see what you give back to me. Now I'm going to react off of what you've just given me. So for me, it's not, I've led this, you do this is when you do it, this is how you do it, and then smile when you're through. I'm not going to
Okay. Question. One question. He said, I suggest something and she did as much as she wants. As long as it's in with the framework of my lead. Because if I lead something, say I'm doing a lot with, some people call fast with ankles under the turns, okay? And after this, I'm spinning around, and I take her hand up and take her out of it right away. If she decides she wants to turn the other way and do something else herself, then she's no longer dancing with me. She wants to dance by herself, put the pants on lady and get herself ready. Understand that? There's only one leader in the dance towards the man. She can play. She can play in the frame of the lead. I'm driving the car. There's not two steering wheels in the car for a reason, folks. We would have a problem. Okay? She can put her makeup on, and then she wants to drive that car, but I'm driving.
I will add that too. I'll agree with both of them. We still are the leader. Once again, we find the flow, and all of a sudden, they'll all tell you, here comes into the music. We have control to bring the hand down because that's the end of the verse. We do have that control, but we do find the flow. It looks like she's not going to make it. We're both going to look bad if we try to stretch it. So, consequently, they still are one basic leader, and they have the control.
I really don't like to see on the dance floor is when the guy spins the lady out on a free spin and she takes off and does like 50 spins, guys like doing this.
Bring that up now.
Ladies, if you can do 3 spins within 2 beats of music, go for it. But if you need 10 beats of music to do 3 spins, 4 spins, 15 spins, forget it. The basic rule is if he's going to free spin you out there, you need to either do 1 spin or 2 spins in those 2 beats of music.
What about when the guys are doing that? Is
Same
it
thing
going-
for the guys. The ladies are going, okay.
Sit down, sit down.
You want them back?
But I mean, it works in reverse. The guys go out there and
I agree that the man should be the leader, and everybody's summed up with leading is and following, all that stuff. I consider it rude because there is some ladies out there that when you give a lead, they like to do something else and turn around and go, I'm a good leader, huh? It's like, no, you're not a good follower. Your job isn't to lead in the dance, it's to follow. Some ladies, I'm not kidding, they take great pride into leading. And I think we've all ran into a girl that does that, okay? And the whole idea is a communication between you and your partner. And when the ladies don't follow the man on purpose or they try to lead, basically they're an argumentative type person in real life also. A lot of dancing on the dance floor is your own personality. So if you're out there rebelling against the man, you're going to do that in a relationship too, guys. I head the other direction. Do not take her to breakfast.
I want to say one thing to wrap it all up on that. The lady wins the contest, the man takes her to the contest. That's how I feel.
I think swing is a conversation. When you're dancing with somebody, it's a conversation. And what I think is really rude is when you're dancing with somebody and they interrupt. I think when you're dancing, I think swing is a conversation. Should be, I say, it's my opinion, that it's more like 60-40 because the guy's initiating most of the leads. I think there are times when the lady can talk. I just don't think that she should interrupt. The same thing, I don't think that the man should interrupt either when the lady is talking. Does that make sense? Yeah. I think it's
Go ahead, Charlotte. Give it to Charlotte. You want everyone to give it to Charlotte. Then it would help everyone. One last thing from everyone.
We did that before you walked.
Because my class is 1:15.
I got 1:30.
They did that purposely. I want to know just how serious you are about Laureen.
How serious I am?
She won't give me a day. Oh, I live with you. She won't give me a day.
Okay, how about on the second? Sonny?
Got her a mini truck.
Lorraine, see? Nothing. Answer your question?
He knows, these are a nice bunch of kids, believe me, we watch them grow up. We love you all, and I thought maybe with somebody out there would come up with something very personal and make it difficult for somebody, because I'm not married either.
We have an answer from you here?
We don't fix anything that isn't broke. I'm gonna stick up for marriage.
We've been married 14 and a half years.